Hello and welcome to another episode of the Sligo Show here with myself, Brendan Tierney, and we're here again in the lovely business centre here at the Radisson in Sligo, and thanks to the guys for letting us use their space. I'm joined now by Dave, Gavin and John Casey, who are from the Multiple Myeloma Foundation, the Northwest branch. Is that correct, lads?
Correct.
Yeah. You're very welcome to the Sligo Show. Thanks for coming in to chat to us.
Brendan.
So you have a big, I'm going to show the poster straight away. We'll put it up online as well, but there's a giant charity art auction. It is on Sunday the 26th of March in the Sligo Park Hotel. So the guys are here going to tell us a little bit more about that. So Dave, you're more from the artist angle. You can tell us a bit more about it. What is the art auction about and what are you hoping to achieve on the day?
Okay, so we were discussing when we were in the one of the meetings in the Cancer Support Centre in Wine Street. It was pre-COVID, I think, and I suggested maybe, because I did a bit of art, to have an art auction to raise funds for Multiple Myeloma Ireland. But of course COVID kicked in and that was all put back. So when we got back to meeting up as a group again, not too long ago, we decided to give it a go again. So that's why, because I know a bit about art and a lot of artists I've worked with over the years, I thought, right, okay, we're in a perfect opportunity to raise some funds for multiple myeloma. So I contacted a lot of the artists I known over the years, mostly from Leinster, and people I've been exhibiting with in group exhibitions from Munster and Ulster particularly, because where I'm originally from is Oldcastle, County Meath, the northwest. So we'd be close to Gavin, so I'd be exhibiting with a lot of Gavin artists. So a lot of the people I contacted, they had no problems like helping us out with
donating.
They're brilliant now, I have to
Very
say.
generous, I seem. Because, I mean, I see the poster, there's a huge name. So people from all over the country, and including Sligo, obviously.
Absolutely overwhelmed like with the response and the generosity of these artists. It's, giving us original mostly.
Okay.
Which is, like artists have...
How many artists in total is kind of roughly...
We're looking at over almost 40, I'd say.
Okay, wow.
And some artists are donating 2 and 3 pieces.
Yeah, sometimes it's not just 40, but it's
probably around 44 or 5 pieces. They're still collecting.
Right, so it's building. And like, is it people of all levels of artists, or kind of people who have been just dabbling in their fears as well?
All levels, all ages, all different types of art, contemporary, urban, different mediums, oils, acrylics, charcoal, lots of, there's a girl from Dublin, Catherine Ryan, she does urban art, so a lot of her stuff is vibrant.
Okay, real focus. So I mean, it's just like you could be looking for a piece for your home, for your office.
It
could be just more of a real,
and some of the art. I mean, we've got artists from all provinces, like all different types.
So it's a real mix.
And really excited about seeing.
So it's for some, like, say if people go, well, I never go to art auctions. Why would I go? But it is for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
What kind of price ranges? I mean, I know you don't know today, but is there expected?
Artists have their own guide price for what they sell as a profession. But most of the artists say to me, Dave, listen, just get what you can. The prices could start from 40, 50 euro. Up to 1,500-1,600 euro. I mean, that's artists with household names now, which are also donating. Big names, like household names. Emma Stroud, Michael Wan, Cormac O'Leary, people like that. They like, some of these guys exhibit internationally as well. Michael Wan has his pieces in the National Gallery. He's resident there.
Okay. So there could be like a real bargain to be had as well from something that you might, I mean,
absolutely.
It's not your standard art auction where all the big buyers are there.
Now you might get some guys who want to collect art, so which would be good for us. Like,
you're looking for anyone to come.
Listen, the artists say, like, just get what you can for them. So they're not really, once it's for a charity, they're say, like,
just there you go.
Like,
I mean, I'm sure
they're very good. Like, and every single artist that we have is just great out for that. They just want to make sure we make a few bob for the
charity.
myeloma.
And I suppose moving on to the charity, John Casey, you're here with us as well.
Yeah.
So you are, you're helping raise money with this as well. And who are the MMI, Multiple Myeloma Ireland, and what do they do?
They're an organisation set up to basically promote awareness of multiple myeloma. It's not a very well-known cancer.
No, I'd never heard of it before.
Yes,
So, I
and
mean,
a lot of
I'm in the majority, I suppose.
Yes,
as well. So
a lot of people mix it up with melanoma, but it's completely different.
Okay.
So they have a website, multiplemyelomaireland.org, and that gives all sorts of information on multiple myeloma, the causes, treatments, side effects, the podcasts of interviews with patients undergoing treatment, carers, and it suggests coping mechanisms then for people who are diagnosed with it, because it's an incurable cancer.
Yeah. And what kind of specific cancer is it for someone that doesn't know?
It's a bone marrow cancer.
Bone marrow, okay.
So you have to accept, number one, that that's it for your life, but there are treatments, of course, and it helps carers who are dealing with it and people, anyone who has problems, basically, they're answered on the myeloma website.
Okay.
And then it raises funds for myeloma. It holds various fundraising gigs. They have one of the main ones is a marathon cycle annually. They call it the Wild Myeloma Way Cycle. So this year, actually, it's the 15th and 16th of September, and it's it goes from Sligo to Donegal on the 15th, Donegal to Sligo on the 16th. Okay. And that's, support people who have myeloma, who are in remission and who are fit to do the cycle, carers, anyone who is interested,
family members.
family.
This is something you're obviously living with.
Oh, I live with
so
it.
I'm saying, how many years have you lived with this? What's it like to live with? Or?
Yeah, I was diagnosed it's a very difficult, I'll explain what it is first. Yeah. It's a bone marrow cancer, right? And the whites, it attacks the white blood cells, which produce antibiotics for our immune system.
Yes.
And that's fine. And then the myeloma interferes. And what happens is the cells mutate and they produce high levels of a thing called paraprotein, which is the baddie.
Okay.
And instead of helping the white blood cells fight infection, it actually does the opposite. It attacks particularly the bone marrow, right? The calcium. And it also spreads to the blood and the kidneys. So it's multiple in the sense that it's not like other cancers where you wake up and you've got a lump.
Okay.
There's
it nearly kind of spreads everywhere almost. It's always flowing.
And it's very, very difficult to diagnose. In the old days, a lot of people would present in a hospital with severe bone pain or recurrent fractures. And they'd treat them for that. And then they realised, look, this isn't the problem. So they do a blood test. And the blood test will reveal then that it's not due to sore bones.
Yeah.
You've got something else. And they do tests. In my case, I was lucky. I was flying it. I went in. I gave blood twice a year. Went in for a routine blood test in May. A week later, I got a call from the doc. There's something a little bit worrying in your last blood review. Come in. They want to do further tests. So I went down to Sligo. Again, I wasn't too worried. I asked him, he said, I just want to do further tests. So I went down and they did further tests, urine tests and blood tests. And it's still, we're not happy here. So they did a bone marrow biopsy, which takes a little bit of my bone marrow out. And then they said, you got multiple myeloma.
Okay.
I never heard of it. As I say, I thought like that, melanoma. So I went into Sligo, I was called down to Sligo. I met the then only consultant in hematology that was there, Dr. Andy Hodgson. And he told me, you've got it. He explained what it was. I said, is there a cure? No, he said, no cure. You live with it. But there's treatments, very effective treatments, he says. And if you decide to go on treatment, he said, there's a good chance you get 3 to 5 years,
Okay.
So then your question is, what do I do here?
Yeah.
So he said, go and think about it. I did. And I consulted Mary, my wife, and the lads, I had 2 boys in Dublin. And because I was thinking, do I go for it? Because cancer in my time now, when it was generic word, you go home and you make your will.
Yeah, that's the only option. Yeah.
That was my version of cancer. So anyway, I decided I'd take the treatment. I went back into Sligo and I got, what they do then is they put you on a cycle, what they call cycles of treatment. And while it's an unusual, as I say, disease in that the treatment is patient specific in a sense, because what might suit you mightn't suit me. Now the drugs are basic standard drugs, but the way they combine them, as Andy called it, a cocktail. He said, if we took the cocktail
an individual cocktail, like.
So I went on, it's basically a combination of 4 drugs. There's chemotherapy, steroids, there's drugs you get to rebuild your immune system, which is shot to pieces basically, and then there's myeloma specific drugs. That's, in my time it was Velcade, now they have another one, Revlimid. And then I got a bone strengthener. So I went on the first treatment, and of course you have to be warned when you're in a treatment, do not get an infection.
Of course,
And of course that's easier said than done. I was 2 weeks on it and bugger. If the temperature went up to 38, rings Oncology down. And I thought, Jesus, 2 weeks into it. And but I never got another one, Brendan. Okay. That was it. I sailed through didn't sail through them. You had good and bad. I had 4 cycles, which took me to November. You'd have good days and bad days. I had mostly good days, I have to be honest.
Okay.
And it was progressing nicely. And I was of the age, and I was healthy enough to consider what they call a stem cell transplant. Oh. So that's what they suggested that to me. So would I be interested? Yes. And I went to then St. James's Hospital in Dublin to review, would I have a stem cell transplant? Yes, I said. And they explained to me what that was. I got a high dose of cancer, radiation for the cancer, and it basically brought me down to a low level of immune.
Yeah.
I went up to James's then, and they took out my blood stem cells, and they were washed and frozen, and I was sent home again, right? That took, I went up 2 days of high chemo, and then they harvested the cells, and I was sent home, and they gave me a date, come back in January, and we'll put them back in. And that was grand, but I got an infection, I got a blood clot, and it had to be postponed. So in February, I went up mid-February, and again, very heavy chemo for 2 days, Monday, Tuesday, 2 days rest, and then on Friday, they put back my cleaned stem cells. And then I went into isolation for, they said maybe 3 weeks, but 2 weeks, where you went to your own room. I had one visitor, Mary. She had to suit up, like PPE. And there was a little corridor getting into the room. She was sprayed with some sort of a disinfectant. So that was grand. And then I was sent home I got my follow-up treatment, not in James's, but in Sligo. And again, do not get an infection. So, because
how long ago was these events happening now?
2009. That was
right. Okay. All right.
10
so
was the,
I didn't know the timeline.
10 was the myeloma, the stem cell treatment. 26th of February, and so then I was on a treat. I came back to Sligo, back to Dr. Hodgson, and he looked after me, and he said, in July, you're fine. You're in full remission, which was quite unusual. And he said, you can resume your life insofar as you can until it comes back, because there's every chance you're going to get a relapse.
Yes, okay.
And I'm thinking, well, I'm going to enjoy life. And I did.
Okay.
And I got not 5 years, I was sailing, and then I forgot about it. And I went down in September 2019, and he said, Dr. Hodgson said, there are traces of the paraprotein back. So anyway, I think how do we get around this? But he said, it's very low level, John, he said, and it might be just a slow burner. We will monitor it. Okay. And by this following September, as COVID was rampant, he said, John, I think we're going to treat you again. So I went on 2 cycles, and that removed it again. And then I was on a year's maintenance, and I got off all treatment last December.
Yeah.
Wow.
And as I say, I'm flying it again.
Great. That's great.
It's one of the more treatable.
It's treatable.
No, but I mean, it's obviously an intense
our
journey to be on.
I'm not minimising it. It's pretty scary.
Like
it's scary stuff.
To live with it, like, okay, so when you have it and you're not doing the treatments, like, how does it affect your daily life? Is it energy? Is it movement?
No, I have to be honest. I went back to a fairly normal life. I went, did the bucket list came into it then. I said, I went to America again. I went to America in the fall, and I went to Rome, and I went to various places, which I'd always going to do, but I did. No, to be honest with you, I lived for a while. I had a thing called neuropathy in the feet, which made it difficult. I was a passionate vegetable gardener. I had to give that up. That was the only sacrifice I had to make. Other than that, I've gone on holidays twice a year.
Nice. Would you give out to my generation now to say, don't be waiting until you get sick to get the bucket list? Would you tell? What would you tell your young self now?
I would say enjoy. I did enjoy life.
Yeah.
I was retired. I retired at 60, so it was good. But I'm back now to a very good quality of life, in the sense that Father Time now is the biggest enemy. I'm slowing down with my age.
I think the key, John, is keep on top of your
I
bloods.
walk in the morning. I get a 3 monthly review in Sligo.
Okay.
So as Andy said, or Dr. Hodgson said, I don't want to get any surprises. Sligo, in fact, has a wonderful oncology department. And not only, when I got the myeloma in 2029, he was the only consultant. They've two now. Dr. Anya Burke is with them. So, I mean, it's fantastic.
It's an amazing...
Oh,
I know people might say give out about the health service.
Oh, not
the people on the ground are amazing. What they can do and how they help people. Like, it's insane what they do.
Wonderful.
It's amazing. So this is it kind of common in this area? I mean, you've set up your own group here in Sligo?
We have. Ger Walpole, who is coincidentally the chairperson of Multiple Myeloma Ireland currently, she set up, Multiple Myeloma then decided, look, we will bring the information to the people, and they set up regional support groups. Yeah. Right? They have this, as I told you, big annual conference once a year where they organise a day for patients and carers. And it consists of medical people coming in to explain the new developments to oncologists. They have a patient, I spoke as one of them, to give their experiences of getting it, dealing with it, coping with the treatment, etc., and any after effects. And then various other workshops that day, exercise that might be beneficial, dietary improvements, all of that. It's a wonderful day. Okay. Sligo hosted it in 2018. We hosted it. I've been in Maynooth, Dublin. This year's conference is going to be in Galway, in the Galway Hotel on the 12th of May, so I'll be at that. And Ger set up Ger Walpole, who is the senior oncology nurse in the hospital in Sligo. Ger, who is now, as I said, chairperson of the Multiple Myeloma Association of Ireland, she set up our regional support group. We meet once, the last Monday of the
every
month.
Every month,
in the Sligo Cancer Care Centre in Sligo.
Wine Street.
Support centre there, yeah. So even if someone has this and they don't know about you, if you go to the support centre, they're going to help you with any of the groups that are
So we meet there. They provide us with the accommodation, heated, lovely, comfortable surroundings.
Plenty of biscuits.
Biscuits
lots
and
of biscuits
tea.
there, yeah. It's a beautiful space.
And we're extremely grateful to them for that and any support they can give us generally.
They seem to be... We've interviewed a few people on this show that have been through the cancer journey, and like it keeps coming back to the staff in the hospital, the consultant, all of these people from the top to the bottom, and then the Sligo Cancer Support Centre. Yeah. I suppose, for people that aren't near the cancer journey, let's say, or on it, you might never realise, but it just keeps going back to the good.
I think the key, keep on top of your bloods, regardless what age you are. Just, regular bloods screening for yourself. I mean, I was diagnosed in 2019, September, and I had the transfusion in June 20. Okay. I went pretty much the same way John did, but all my stuff was done in Galway. And then it was, I'm on Revlimid now. They've changed Revlimid to a full maintenance, which is just changed now from what John used to have. But that's the way they do it sometimes,
But even, I was diagnosed in 2009. When I went back on the treatment in 2019-20, the change in drugs, for instance, I was getting, one of the treatments I was getting in 2009 was Velcade. It was given intravenously and it raped 20 minutes. I went back and the guy takes out a syringe and he does it 30 seconds. You're good to go.
Yeah, the advances.
Oh my God. And they had refined another drug that I was on in 29, had to be taken off because it was affecting my kidneys, a bone strengthener called Zometa. They had refined that and taken out whatever was the problem. And I got that the second time around, not a bother.
Yeah.
Absolutely no. So it's just, and as I say, there's new technology. Your listeners might remember seeing Ger Walpole, who we talked about. talking about a new breakthrough development now, where they take out the cells, the harvester cells, but instead of putting them just back, they engineer them now so that when they put them back and the myeloma comes back, it targets it. It follows the.
It attacks.
It's
unbelievable. Thankfully,
that's if that works, it's going to be a game changer. No doubt about that.
Wow. Well, I mean, it's amazing the journey you're both on, and this project seems amazing. So, like, people in general, like, I mean, I'm going to show the poster again. We'll show it separately, anyways, but. 26th of March up in the Sligo Park Hotel from 2 to 5. You can go in a bit earlier to have a look around.
You can have a pre-auction viewing if you want to put a bid down on some of the art at 1 o'clock.
Okay, and it's in support of the Sligo Hospital Oncology unit. That's the key.
And shout.
And if people see these posters in town and they can't get to the auction, you can just do this code and donate direct. Is that right?
If they want to donate a few bob, it doesn't have to be a lot. There's a QR code there. Just scan it with the phone.
Scan that. And I mean, you have a Facebook page yourself. I think you're mentioning.
I have a Facebook myself.
So where will people find that? Or how do they
David Gavin. Just look
Dave Gavin. We'll find you and you'll see all the art parts there. Well, guys, lovely to chat to you. Best of luck on your next phases. I hope everything keeps going the right way, like it's been going. And the best of luck with the auction. Thanks for coming in and chat to us.
Yeah, the only thing we'd love.
Sorry, Brendan, would be
we have the support group, and there are people. It wasn't there in my time. We'd love if recently diagnosed people came to the support. We can be a help. I'm not saying we can.
The first Monday in the cancer.
The last Monday.
Sorry, the last Monday.
Yeah, and. It's intimidating. I can understand sometimes it's intimidating coming into a group that's established.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Any of us, if it's someone in the Boyle
if you're
area,
as friendly as you are today and warm, I think they'll be very warm.
We'll bring them down. And you can bring them in and introduce them. And the second visit, then it's not.
Even when I was diagnosed, I really didn't want to be talking really to anybody. And like Doris, Jar Walpole suggested go to the meeting, and so I says, I don't really want to, she said, I will go anyway. Doris, my wife, says, let's go. So I met John. Now, I didn't read up anything. I was given leaflets. I didn't read anything. I learned more today off John than I did when I was diagnosed, what he was saying. Yeah. I didn't want to know anything about it, just get on with the thing. I'm one of these people, just want to get on with it. Yeah. But when I went to the support group, they were saying, I just wanted to know what people went through. That's all, just to prepare myself. And so everyone treats it differently. So before I went for my stem cell transfusion, this man says to me, Dave, you'll fly it. That's all I wanted to hear, and I did.
Yeah. And it can be that just a little bit of positivity. They've been and done it. Yeah. It's like on the airplane, if it's a bit of turbulence, but the air hostesses are relaxed. Yeah. So, well, if they're okay, then we're all okay.
Yeah. So you know, a bit of knowledge is wonderful. Yeah. A little bit of knowledge.
Yeah.
That's all.
Wonderful.
Well, guys, best of luck with the auction and all the great work you're doing.
Thanks,
and
Brendan.
Lovely to chat to you.
Yeah.
So that was Dave and sorry, I'm getting all the names mixed up. I'm going to introduce them. Dave and John. And they're from Multiple Myeloma Ireland, the Northwest branch. And you can check out, as I said, the auction. Just check out the QR code, check out the posters, and go to Dave Gavin on Facebook if you want to get more of the details. Thanks again for the Radisson to let us use their lovely space here in the business centre. Thanks to Brian on the cameras and Finian also helping out back behind the cameras there as well. We'll see you again soon.
The Sligo Show is produced by Pixel Productions and hosted by Brendan Tierney. If you need a video for your business or would like to feature on the show, get in touch with us today.
So if you liked what you just seen, don't forget to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel here. We've loads of great interviews from a load of really interesting people over the series. And if you're on social media, which I'm sure loads of you are, we are on Instagram and Facebook, so give us a follow there.